It's Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. Daylight savings times once again. I don't know what we're saving it for. I don't know where we're saving it, but that's the time. I'm here. You're here. Welcome, adventurers. I'm your guide, Sean McZoo, and this is the Reptile Show reporter. As usual, Bill Strand, the headmaster of the Community Academy, is my co-host. Tonight, we are discussing reptile shows and husbandry, which is what we always do. So I think it's going to be a generic. So we could be talking about genetics, but it could be a generic show. I think we're going to talk about geckos. We'll figure. Let's put the video on and let me stop talking. It is very sad that I do better with dancing to the video than I do talking tonight. So we'll have to see what's going on, because that's really a terribly sad comment. But anyways, let's figure out this. This board is strange for me today. I don't know why, but we'll go ahead and work through it. I got to prove that I can do things so that Bill can let me do next Saturday, which we'll talk about in a minute, which is going to be very exciting. And I was wanting to be there, but I'm going to be here manning the board, not on this show, but on his live show. But Two Turtle Tom is here, and Mikey Ben are the first two. So let's see if I can find Tom. There's Tom and Paige and Mikey Ben. And who else is here? James. Wow. We got the DIY chameleon guy. He's very cool. I hear this from this morning. If you missed that, they had a little bit about air conditioning on the show this morning, which we don't need over here in Ohio. It's perfect. It's 72 degrees outside, partly cloudy and awesome. Actually, it's dark now, but all right. So the Reptile Show reporters here. I know that guy. Chameleon Academy, I know that guy. Liza Ann, there you go. And James Cross. So let's go to Eliza.
We're going to take another picture of Eliza this weekend.
I know, that's what I hear. And James, that's the DIY chameleon guy. It was all about air conditioners. I learned a little bit this morning. I thought I knew everything about them, but I learned a little bit. But we don't use in the we have whole house air conditioning here in Ohio, and a basement, which is a much better thing to put your chameleons in. But we can chat about that as time goes on. Who else is here? Two Turtle Tom, James Cross, Mikey Ben, Liza Ann.
Nate Rowley.
Nate. There we go. All right. Nate. There's Nate, fellow Ohioan. And anybody else, Bill, that you see that we haven't talked about yet?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about announcements. Bill, I'm going to let you spill.
I got to get the last name right. Rowley.
What?
Roll-E. It's not Rowley. Roll-E.
Rowley.
Okay. I keep saying it wrong.
Rowley. Okay. Roll-E is how you say that last name.
All right.
We'll put it up
on
so we can get credit. Well, wait a minute. That's not the right. It's the thing advance, and let's see. There we go. I'm not working the board very well today. That's what he's really worried about, because I'm going to mess up on Saturday with a whole big audience. But there you go. All right.
We're all among friends.
Yes, today, but I don't know about Saturday. There's a lot of friends out there on Saturdays. All right. So, Bill, announcements.
All right. The big announcement is that this Saturday I'm going to be at Clint's Reptile's 5th birthday bash, and Sean McZoo is going to be co-hosting with the Fogfather James Cross, with Eliza Ann in the field, in the building, as I'm getting shot at by in the Reptile Rampage, where Clint is essentially doing kind of a reptile YouTubers Hunger Games situation.
Now, wait a minute, Bill. You're getting shot at by real bullets, or are these Nerf guns?
Well, these are Nerf guns.
Okay. So Nerf guns are cool. and I like them, but you know, you
I'm
can't
still
really
getting shot at.
games is really, you know, it's not they're not gonna like kill you and nobody will be left. You know what I'm saying? That's
Well, at least I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know.
okay.
Maybe he's up the stakes a little bit this year.
Who knows? Yes,
Anyway,
and then you could have stakes. I don't know, but
the
all
thing
right.
is, you're going to be able to see it live because Eliza Ann's going to be there on the floor, and in between my teams going out on the field, I'll be able to come over and say hello to everybody. But you know what? When my team needs me, I got to go.
Hey, who's your team?
Don't know.
You don't know.
Uh,
It's going to be
it'll be
last
assigned
minute or
there.
something, huh? All
I will be
right,
assigned
let's see
a
what
team.
people are saying about this. Uh, it's a wild bunch on Saturdays. I'm afraid. I've been there on Saturdays and watched, but all right. Boom right in the action.
That's right. Why he is because he wants to see the action is because his audience demands it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Being the heat of the fire. That's right. Heat of the fire.
In the Wild West. All right. Let's see.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's Utah.
It is
That
Utah,
explains
so yes, I
everything.
guess it is. It's more than the Wild West. It's a little bit, you know, I don't know, north and west, but there you go. But okay. All right. So then any other announcements, Bill?
Other than that, I released a very cool podcast episode that I'm proud of. It's a beginner's guide to fighting reptile parasites, and it's an episode where I didn't get into the nitty gritty about parasites. I just talked about how we can use husbandry as a very effective weapon against parasites. We can break the parasitic life cycle even if we don't know that they are there. And the podcast was released this afternoon. The YouTube video, we're all going to get together at 5 a.m. Pacific tomorrow morning and watch the YouTube video. It's a different approach. I am experimenting with talking to the reptile community because so much of what we do in the chameleon community is applicable to everyone else. Coccidia is Coccidia, maybe a different species, but it still looks the same. And the skills we're learning can be used with any of our other reptiles.
All right. Cool. That's awesome. So any other announcements?
That's all I've been doing with my life.
Oh, that's a lot, Bill, though. And you're going to get Hunger Games this weekend, so we're
I'm gonna
not
get
even
Hunger
sure if
Games
anything more is going to come. This could be your last podcast. You never know. You know, you could be, could be like Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man
Eliza,
leave. You know,
you need to ask Clint, why are you Hunger Gaming our chameleon guy?
All right. Okay, so let's see. Announcements for me. No new micro squirrels, thank God. That's one of those things that every week we do pray for. That took off way too fast. So
Yes.
Podcast number 25 is live. It was live last week with Two Turtle Tom, and very soon I'm going to have somebody else recording. I was supposed to record last Monday, but I had this Monday. It's only Wednesday today, but I had a migraine. But we're going to record next Monday, and I got another one ready to record. So I'll announce those as soon as they're recorded. I won't preview them until they're actually available. So, or at least recorded, so I can do what I need to. So, all right, Bill. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. This may be more of a Thunderdome situation than the Hunger Games. So maybe Eliza, you should ask Clint. Do you consider this more like a Thunderdome of YouTubers or a Hunger Games? And get Clint's opinion on that. I think that's a great question, interview question, hard hitting. All right. So anyway, what was it?
Wait a minute. Didn't they have a Winter Olympics in Utah? I don't think so, but maybe they didn't remember it. But all right.
So I'm sorry. What was your question?
I don't know what my question was. Was any other thing that you wanted to talk about yet?
Oh,
I'm as unprepared as ever, Bill, but we
well,
can talk. What early in the
I mean, we can, if you want to talk about, oh, Stephanie Payne's here. Stephanie will be there as well. And
all right, what we've got her picture and we got time, so I can't tell the difference between these pictures now. This is her, right? That's
yeah, that's
Stephanie.
her.
All right. All right. So there we go. All
Well,
right, because I don't know why the pictures aren't showing up today. It's just odd. I don't know what's happening, but at least we're able to talk and do what we need to do.
if you
Um,
want to, we can talk about parasites at reptile shows.
no. We did that, and I had to wear a hazmat suit to the next reptile show. So
I know you took that seriously.
no, well, you know what? I see these things. I know about it. I know what the hazmat suits are, and I'm prepared for biological weapons and whatever, but not to the nth degree as some people are. But I know a little bit about it being in the medical field, and what I have. It's gonna party like it's 1999. That was a long time ago. Liza Ann was probably 12
Yeah,
or not even born yet. So there we
not a
go.
long time ago in my mind.
I know it was yesterday in mine. I think I still have some bottled water left over from then. We're in the basement here, not here, but another house, and had a bottled water and everything else, waiting for the planes to land. Because we're next to the airport, so it would have been really bad if the planes fell out of the sky. So there we go. All right.
What are you?
So
Well, I want to know, do you curse everybody who manufactures knob faucets
knob faucets.
when you turn on the knob with dirty hands and then you turn off the faucet after you wash your hands? You touch the same knob with your clean hands to turn it off?
We shouldn't get into that, Bill, because I think that which does not kill us makes us stronger, is my thought. So I really not afraid of that kind of stuff. I do wash
Well,
my
when you're
hands.
trying to like keep parasites out of your chameleons, I mean, how do you wash your hands?
Wash my hands. No, I'm just kidding. I do.
Oh, you're one
I
of those wash the hand kind of guys.
I actually have a faucet that turns on and off by electric eye, so it doesn't. I don't
Oh
have to turn it
man,
on that way.
I want one of those step on the foot pedals. I want one of those.
Okay. I think the electric eye would be a little easier, but I guess the foot pedal would be easier to install. There's no electricity, but you don't have to combine the
The
electricity
electric eye
and
doesn't ever
water.
catch my hand.
Well, I know you need to get a bitter tan, Bill.
Great.
Yes, exactly. All right. So why don't you tell us about parasites and reptile shows? What do you know?
What do I know? Well, okay, so everybody, this is what I know. That uh there's a bunch of parasitic material. And okay, we're getting ready to talk parasites. Uh, I think the thing just we need to be realize is that whenever you go to a reptile store or a reptile expo, that there are parasites all over the place in there, and it's really easy to bring them home. And you're talking about something like a Coccidia oocyst that lives for a year or so, and they could just be sitting around. And so I don't think this is something that we need to be concerned of. We need to be freaking out about or scared of, but realize how easy it is for that to happen. And so when our chameleon or a reptile comes down, all of a sudden surprises us because the vet says they've got parasites, or you get the people who are part of the class, they know it within a week. Um, a while ago, people had that situation, and so they started blaming the feeder insects because that's the only thing coming in, and so it's got to be. I found out there were parasites right after I got crickets in from X farm. So they came in with the crickets. And there's that was bouncing around so much that there was a couple of DVMs and a scientist that said, all right, we're going to test it. They tested it and they found no, the oxyurids, the pinworms, are not coming in with the crickets, at least in the ones that they test. They tested 5 different farms. And that makes sense because, I mean, you have to have a reptile pooping in the cricket bins for there to be reptile pinworms. What did he say? You just made coccidia not so scary, and then you bring in the O's. Okay, yeah, well, this is a real whiplash type thing here. But so we know, if you know the pinworm life cycle, you know how hard it is. You know they're not going to survive. They're not going to generate within crickets. So that's why we need to be critical as to what we hear, and the whole idea about parasites coming in with crickets is just widespread within the reptile community. People say it as if it was gospel truth, and they just they're not questioning it. There is a study out there, a published study, and so if before we start believing it, we need another published study that says yes, they aren't coming in. And I think the only way that I think that could happen is if the pinworms that infect the alligator lizards that are feasting on the cricket bins are able to infect chameleons, iguanas, geckos, or whatever else. Okay, then you've got something to check out. But it's still something that we got to prove is happening, because it's still it's much easier to grab some oocysts, correct oocysts and ova from a reptile expo than it is to assume that you've got some super pinworm coming in from the crickets.
Okay, wait a minute, Bill. If it's on the internet, it's not true?
Well, I mean, it's definitely got some heft to it. If it's on the internet, somebody somewhere really put some thought into it. But in this particular case,
any fool could get a letterhead and a sign and a logo. You didn't even believe us. That's what I end up telling people. Don't believe anything. But then when you tell someone don't believe anything, they have to question your words because you told them not to believe anything that you hear. So,
but
there you go.
I actually have a way of getting around that.
All right,
Bill, you're giving away the plot for tomorrow's episode. I am giving away a little bit. I do talk about this a little bit in tomorrow's episode.
So it's a teaser.
But yes, you know what? Inner circle here.
Radio and all these other things are teasers. A little bit of flavor, so you can be there tomorrow. If you don't want to get up at 8 o'clock and do whatever, I'll be at work. But there we go. Okay. All right. So, did anyone do any studies about reptile shows and bringing stuff home? Not other parasites at reptile shows, but did anyone prove someone did bring something home from a reptile show?
No. I'm not aware of a study that says that somebody brought home parasitic material from a
All right, Bill. I'm the reptile show reporter. I believe in innocent until proven guilty. So I'm just going to fight back and say, I don't believe it.
Okay. And
there's
nothing I can say to that.
Reptile shows with some kind of alcohol type bug killer, and I do squirt it on every few minutes. But there you go. But I'm really believing innocent until proven guilty. So there you go.
Well, okay. So maybe I need to do something. And Eliza Ann is saying, how would you even do that study? So there's a good question. Let's think about it. How would we do that study? Well, the first thing I would do is try to figure out if I could get how I could collect material off of doorknobs and faucets. How could I collect that and get it on a slide. So if I figured that out of how to get stuff off of material off of surfaces, and maybe even in figuring out how to get it off of my hands, then
why wouldn't you just swap it?
well, I've just started to think about this because I am now being challenged, which is appropriate. My hypothesis is being challenged, and so now we got to figure it out. Swab it, okay?
So let's start back at the beginning, Bill. What is actually your hypothesis in words?
My hypothesis:
In a short statement.
parasite reproductive material can be transported on our hands or parcels or such from reptile shows to our home. So my hypothesis,
and infect our reptiles. I mean, it just transferring it to home doesn't matter because it'll die. I mean, if you had no reptiles at your home, it wouldn't survive, right?
I think I think the transportation to the home is the important part. We will assume that oocyst, its job is to be transported all over the place, and we would say it's logically reasonable that if you can transport something to your home, like an oocyst, which is environmentally resistant, that it could infect. Now, you're right. We can't say for sure. Do we need
Bill,
another?
my logic stopped at your assumption.
Okay, so I need.
That's innocent until proven guilty still, Bill.
Wow. All right.
I mean,
All
I
right.
can really be challenging on these type of things because I was a reviewer of medical journals, and I still am. So I have to follow it to the nth degree. So your hypothesis is that something from reptile shows comes to your house and infects your lizards.
That's
or
true.
Your reptiles or what have you, right?
That's true.
Okay.
So we'll have to include and it infects the chameleon or the reptile.
Okay. So if I go to a reptile show with no chameleons, am I safe?
You go to a reptile show without.
And let's say theoretically it's not true, but if I only had reptiles in my chameleons in my home, would I be safe?
If you went to a reptile show that didn't have any chameleons, I would not say you are safe.
Okay.
Because we have not established what parasites are able to infect various reptiles. We know that they are species specific, genus specific, but we don't know how specific they are. And it's interesting that the people who are finding Isospora coccidia in chameleons are doing a lot of it in the captive in the captive hatched community. Whereas me looking at wild poops, I don't see any Isospora. It's all Emeria or Coleomeria. And so there is obviously there's evidence of parasites being bounced around within the community. And we know that crested geckos, I can't imagine that the parasites from the wild caught crested geckos have stayed within the crested geckos. And so when the crested geckos have parasites, it's a good guess that they may have come from other reptiles.
Okay.
So I'd say you're not totally safe. You're safer, but not totally safe.
I want to know who this Bella is. I haven't really listened to you. It's anything that you said, Bill. But who's the Bella that's sticking up? Who James is talking to, telling him to go stick his fingers in reptile poop and come home. The chat is going wild. There's not that many people in the chat. But
I think everybody's getting out of hand here, including me.
Wow. I don't know. Bella. What's Bella from? That's from one of those movies or show. What was that from? Bella. Who was Bella and what show or
That's from the multiverse. There's another universe where the Chameleon Academy is run by a woman.
Okay. Oh, so he was trying to say Bill? That's
I
what we're saying?
I think so.
Okay. He was probably doing talk to text and then text, then it went back from talk to text, then it went from text to talk. So yeah, that's really crazy. You know, one of those that newfangled thing where we talk to text and then it texts and then it talks to the next person, which you know is a shortcut for just calling them. What we used to do many moons ago.
But
But
I
okay.
appreciate James is sitting here coming up with good ideas as to how we can do it.
I don't know that you need to put your fingers in a poop, but is that what people do all the time? I'm going to stick my
Well,
fingers
it's
in
same
this
thing if you
poop.
hold a bearded dragon that's been running around in its poop.
Okay, but then you didn't have to put the fingers in the poop. You could hold the bearded dragon. So
No,
I
but
mean,
you know what? We got to force the experiment. What are
you're
we?
not using real life.
Are we testing whether we can get poop on our hands, or are we testing the transportation to our house?
All of it, Bill. I mean, there's going to be there. This is going to take 12 studies.
Wow, we're all going to be busy.
No, you're going to be busy.
Oh, but I'm going to be talking about it every single Wednesday. If
Okay.
I'm doing this, you're going with me.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm here to talk you tell what is it to be the opposition of your of whatever you say. So play the devil's advocate. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, let's see.
I'm here to
Eliza Ann
play the
has a
devil's
good.
advocate because that's just who I'm best at. That's when
Well,
I shine.
so well, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we should be doing in the reptile world, not necessarily playing with poop, but thinking about these things and challenging ourselves and testing. How do you approach
The
the person
Fog
who's being fooled?
Fathers. This is going to be a crazy Saturday. You're going to let me and the Fog Father run the board while you're
Oh,
trying to do things.
talk about the Wild West.
Wow, this is. I hope everyone tunes in because this is going to be a crazy, crazy Saturday. No holds barred, no rules, opposition 100%. Bill's
No
not able to
supervision.
fend for himself no matter what we say or do. And you know, I
Yeah.
could bring all kinds of stuff to the thing. He's going to let me in charge of the board. That's the only way he could do this because I'm in charge of this board, but that's not my own. But that
That's
is
right.
his. So I may need to think twice about this whole thing.
Who needs to think twice?
You
I
about
got no
letting me
choice. I
have
got
the
no choice.
handles like you're in the back seat. You know, you're not even in the back seat. You're like in the trailer behind it,
I'm
hoping
being
I don't run into
interviewed
something.
on my own show. Yeah, James says, so how do you approach poop?
Wow, Liza, you might be older than I thought. They still have those commercials.
Put up James.
Where's
Says,
James?
so how do you approach the person who's doing this?
Yep.
Excuse me, can I see? James, that's exactly what I did at my local reptile shop. If everybody remembers, I had such a hard time finding pictures of Isospora coccidia because none of mine had it. Plenty of other kinds of coccidia, but no Isospora. And so I literally had to go to my reptile store and ask for bearded dragon poop. And they know who I am, so they were amused and had no problem giving me poop.
Wow. Hey,
Hey, Kiki.
another Stephanie Payne is here. You missed a lot. You need to go back and watch the rest of this.
and
I'm not saying
document
it's
how
good
we got
quality stuff, but it's really humorous.
here.
I've become the devil's advocate, and Bill is, I guess, the devil. I don't know. I
Okay.
guess that would be wrong because the devil's advocate would be the person who was working for the devil. But there you go. All right. Let's see
That's
what else we
okay.
got.
Well, we are having a grand old time with our microscopes. For those of you, for the students who are part of the course, we have a forum where we talk about the use cases and what we're finding and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, we're having a grand old time learning about what's out there. and discussing the situations and sharing use cases.
It all comes down to eating and pooping. That and drinking. That's life, Bill. You come in, you worry how much you take in, how much you put out, and as you go out, they worry about how much you take in and how much you go out. The middle's all craziness. So,
Unpopular opinion. Everybody keeps.
This is a popular opinion. Sean shows are always a blast. Because I'm the devil's advocate.
Everybody keeps talking about how disgusting parasites are. But they just want to live in peace with their host.
Oh, good Lord.
I mean, is it better than us? The chicken I had last night isn't living in peace. So, I mean, who's the monster here?
Sometimes not true. Sometimes they kill the host, which makes them a bad parasite. But
but every meal
they are long enough to pass on to the next host, that's good. But
they're not trying to kill the host. They want to live in peace with the host.
Did you talk to them, Bill, and ask them, and they told you this? How did you get this information?
Because they want to survive. And if the host dies because the parasites are weakening the host of just the overpopulation, then they die. And so they don't want that. I know that. I don't have to ask them. So they want a strong host. They want to have
How do you know this, Bill?
Limited.
How do you know this?
Because any parasite that wanted to kill their host is no longer with us because they went extinct. They extinctified themselves.
No, if they kill the host before they pass on to a new host.
Yeah. They're extinct.
But no, if they do that, but if they kill the host afterwards, after they pass it to 10 other people, other creatures, then...
Well, what parasite does that? We're talking about the ones we're working with. There are some human parasites that are evil. I don't even want to. They're not living in peace with their host. I'm talking about the hookworms and the trematodes, where the male wraps its flippers around the female, and they live and just produce eggs. They mate for life, and they just produce. They eat and they produce eggs. A peaceful existence.
You're the ooze site whisperer. Okay. You got a new nickname, Bill. I'm going to have to change your nickname from the headmaster of the Chameleon Academy to the ooze site whisperer.
Am I saying it wrong?
What?
I always thought it was an oocyst.
I think
Can it be either way?
I think it's potato, but
okay, good.
I always say potato, good. But there you go.
So I tell you, but yeah, there's some real gnarly human parasites that are just evil, and they just cause misery in their life cycle, and boy, I'm not happy about those, but. These.
So there are no reptile parasites that cause misery in their life cycle? Come on.
Well, there are when they get out of hand, but okay. So when the ascarids start losing their way, and then they start burrowing through organs, okay, yeah, that's a problem. Entamoeba invadens, yeah, that's they don't live in peace with their host. They just start eating through the intestinal wall. They get into the liver, cause troubles there.
So now that we've proven you could be wrong, Bill, we have to just assume that you're always wrong. So, we got to go back and wipe the whole slate crew.
Even when I'm wrong, I'm right in many ways.
Even when you're wrong, you're correct in many ways.
That's right. Okay. That's right. So.
All right. I'm going to use that one.
I want to use that on Facebook.
Okay. Even though I'm wrong, I'm correct in many other ways. So you don't even say other, you say in many ways. There you go.
That's right.
You could say this at some other time or for something else, and I could be exactly right.
It's just the way you look at it, Sean. It's just perspective.
Oh, it's the old Star Wars quote. Many of the truths we cling to depend greatly on our point of view.
Well,
Now
it
I
is.
understand. Who was that, Bill?
Oh. Oh, let's see.
I told you it's Star Wars.
Well, yeah, I know it's Star Wars.
What was it about?
It's probably Qui-Gon Jinn who said that.
Good Lord, Bill. Come on. Can someone in the chat help me?
What, you don't know?
I know. I'm just
Well,
looking to see what, if anyone else knows what I'm talking about.
yeah, well, I should. The reason why I don't know that is because it's from the prequels.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
It's Obi-Wan talking to Luke about who his father is.
Oh, yeah, when he was trying to justify lying to Luke.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right. That's right.
All right,
Uh,
Liza gave you the hint. It was Return
yeah,
of the Jedi.
I am
Yes.
embarrassed. I am
There you
embarrassed.
go.
I should
It
know
was,
this.
it was like, oh man, that was okay. I think we need to end the show then here on that note, Bill.
Yeah, wow, Sean, you just really threw me under the bus on that one. Oh man, I am embarrassed.
I told you I was a devil's advocate 10 minutes ago, Bill, maybe
Dang,
20 minutes ago. You
this is a
you
dangerous
never
show to
deal with
be
the
on.
devil. Unless he's down in Georgia and you got a good fiddle playing, but it's a whole other story.
Oh, yeah, and I remember because Luke gave that stupid look on his face, other perspective or whatever he said. I just remember that look on his face. It was just you don't know what's going on. Obi-Wan just lied to you.
Yep. Or he told a partial truth, I guess, sort of.
Yeah, well,
He did kill his father in the sense that he was reborn as Darth Vader. I mean, it just I could be a little bit perspective wise there, but yeah,
yeah,
not.
well, we all know what it was. George Lucas said, "Oh, wait a minute, I got to make this more than one movie. Okay, let's figure out how we can twist this
Okay,
up."
he already had 6 of them at least, and he started on number 4 because he thought it was the most exciting. You don't know anything, Bill. At this point, we're just going to stop the show.
You know what? Yeah, saying I've got the general gist of a movie is fine, but yeah, if he had them all blocked out, why in the world is he having Leia kiss Luke?
That's a great question for all time.
Yeah, it's a great question.
So we're going to end on that question today, Bill, because it's something I can't answer. Thanks, everyone, for showing up. We talked about nothing today, even though I did suggest we're going to talk about geckos. Maybe next week we'll talk about geckos. Possibly we'll have Ann Panette on if she can get here and talk about something really exciting that happened to her at vet school. Have a good night.
See you tomorrow morning.